Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic have another go at each other on Twitter. Will Francis Ngannou fight Anthony Joshua next? Dana White tells Alex Pereira to work his way to a title shot, and a former UFC fighter was arrested over residential burglary. Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic have thrown more jabs each other's way on Twitter. After winning the vacant heavyweight title at UFC 285, Jones wants Stipe Miocic in New York next, and he revealed that the consensus heavyweight GOAT could very well be his retirement fight. Quote, "How cool would it be to spend my retirement fight dominating the greatest heavyweight of all time in my home state at Madison Square Garden?" Jones made the aforementioned tweet a few days after Dana White said that he hasn't heard a word from him about the fight in a while.
And poof, he's gone again. Jon Jones goes back underground, and and let me know when the Stipe fight's done. And he is a fascinating, talented artist to deal with. Haven't heard a word out of him.
Miocic used Dana's clips as a reference to respond to Jon Jones, saying that he should sign the contract instead of making big claims on Twitter. Quote, "Weird, because last month you said I was the one running." Miocic was referring to the tweets Jones made in March. Quote, "Yo, Stipe Miocic, only you, the UFC, and I know the truth. You dodged me all of 2022, July, September, and December. Now I'm hearing rumors that we may not be fighting this July. Bro, it's simple. Either you believe in yourself or you don't. Either you want this challenge or you don't. Stop wasting everyone's time." Jones fired back at Miocic's recent tweet by calling him an old-timer. Quote, "I lay low for a few weeks and then you convince yourself that I'm afraid of you. Ha! Whatever you need to tell yourself, old-timer." Elsewhere, Dana White was asked about the snippet of his interview that Miocic tweeted. The UFC president said that his words were taken out of context by members of the media because they like to blow things out of proportion. Dana also revealed that things are moving in the right direction as far as a fight between Jones and Stipe is concerned.
That was totally blown out of proportion. This is what you guys do. I say something, you blow it way out of proportion. I said all the build-up and all the lead-up to that fight, you know what I mean? All this Jon Jones talk, poof, and then he's just gone. Jon just back into the thing. And then Stipe came, I don't know what Stipe said, but it's like it turns into fucking drama. There's no drama here. I was just saying, the buildup was huge, everything else, and then poof, Jon was gone. You know what I mean? Back home and everything else. But yeah, as far as I know, everything's good, and hopefully we have a fight with him and Stipe very soon.
Who would win a potential fight between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic? Francis Ngannou recently had lunch with boxing agent Eddie Hearn, who says he'd love to do something with the former UFC heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. 3 months after parting ways with the UFC over a contractual dispute, Ngannou is still jobless, although he has offers from top MMA promotions like the PFL and One Championship. As far as boxing fights against top dogs like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are concerned, Ngannou hasn't had any luck. Even if he manages to bag a fight against one of them, he'd only have a puncher's chance. That's what Eddie Hearn believes.
So it doesn't matter whether Francis fights Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, I agree with you, horrible fight for Francis Ngannou because he just poked him around. And Deontay Wilder, Dillian White, Derek Chisora, Jermaine Franklin. He has no chance against those guys other than to be aggressive, trade up, and catch someone clean and take him out.
Although Hearn believes Ngannou doesn't have the skills to compete with the best boxers in the world, he does admit that Ngannou's story is inspiring, and for that particular reason, he'd love to work with him. Hearn isn't ruling out the possibility of Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, especially now that Joshua needs a big win following his recent string of defeats.
I had lunch with Francis Ngannou there. I mean, you know his story. I was completely gobsmacked by the story of this man. I mean, we sat for 2 hours and I was just listening to just the most remarkable, I mean, how this isn't a film, I have no idea. I mean, unbelievable. I'm thinking, please let me go to Hollywood now with you and sell this film. You know, I just, people need to be educated about what that man has been through, you know, and the story to get to where he's got to. I found him fascinating. Lovely guy, and I'd love to do something.
For now, One Championship appears to be the front runner to sign Ngannou. and the promotion's heavyweight kingpin Arjan Bhullar would be more than happy to welcome him inside the One Circle. Quote, "I hope he comes out east. I see you, Francis. The whole sport's watching. I hope he does well in boxing. It'll be good for all the athletes if he makes a lot of money outside the UFC. It'll be very good. I hope he's successful doing what he's doing, what he's wanting to do. He seems to be in a happy place. All of those things as a competitor. Let's get it on." Who'd win a fight between Francis Ngannou and Arjan Bhullar? Alex Pereira will have to work his way to a title shot after moving up to light heavyweight. Pereira started his career at middleweight in 2021, and with only 3 UFC wins, he earned a title shot thanks to his twin wins over the then-champion Israel Adesanya in kickboxing. Pereira shocked the world by beating Adesanya and winning the belt at UFC 281, but he was knocked out cold in their title rematch at UFC 287. After UFC 287, the Brazilian decided to move up to light heavyweight and called out the 205-pound fighters who were talking smack about him. Quote, "Where are now those light heavyweights who were talking about me when I was a middleweight?" According to Dana White, Pereira won't have an easy path to a title shot in the 205-pound division. The Brazilian will have to beat a real contender or two to earn it.
You put him in title contention in that he has to beat somebody to even be considered in title contention. He's got to move to 205 and beat a real guy. So that's what we're looking at right now, getting him a real guy.
Chael Sonnen has a different take on it, however. He thinks Pereira is only one big win away from getting a light heavyweight title shot. But he also wouldn't mind if he gets an immediate title shot against Jamal Hill.
I don't think that there wouldn't be a huge problem if Pereira was just to go to 205 and go right against Hill. That wouldn't be a huge problem. You got some explaining to do, but it could definitely be done. I just share for you that Pereira is likely no more than one win away from being in that main event title fight with whoever happens to have the belt at that time.
Does Alex Pereira deserve an immediate light heavyweight title shot? Former UFC fighter Carl Roberson has been arrested in connection to a robbery in New Jersey where valuables worth more than $200,000, including jewelry, were stolen. According to a police statement, Roberson was one of the 2 men involved in a residential burglary. The UFC fighter allegedly stole exotic jewelry and valuables worth over $200,000. The suspects were captured on home security surveillance cameras both inside and outside the home. In a press release, the Howell Township Police Department announced the arrests, with lead detective Ryan Jackson confirming the identity of the ex-UFC fighter, saying that he's familiar with his MMA career. As of now, Roberson has been released from custody. Quote, "Yes, it would be the same person, Mr. Roberson. I'm familiar with his UFC career. It's definitely the UFC fighter. I'm well aware of that. I'm aware that he's been released. He was lodged at our county jail for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not sure of the time frame, but since then he's been released." Give us your thoughts on today's story in the comments section below. If you liked our video, please show us some love by subscribing and turning on the notifications so that you can get notified the next time we upload one. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.